wreck up there.
Hang on, we got some bad luck. What the fuck happened right there?
How's it going, guys? RealRadman here, back at it again with another video. We have the Martinsville post-race review to talk about today. So Martinsville, it is probably it's right there with Homestead, as I don't know what is the better track. I think in terms of short track racing, roots of NASCAR, it's Martinsville. But for me, you know, home track, championship race, best mile and a half in NASCAR, I put Homestead there. But it's really neck to neck. I don't know which one's better. Two amazing tracks. So we go to Martinsville. I'm very excited for it. I'm at, like, every Martinsville race, I sit down and watch the entire race, no matter what happens. So basically, let's start at the beginning with qualifying. Qualifying got rained out, so you had two guys, Chase Elliott, Kyle Larson. Larson was on the pole, Elliott was second. They would be in the front row. And what I looked at the start of this race was I am very interested to see how those two will do. Chase Elliott early in the race fell back to around 5th. Larson led for a little bit and then really fell back because of the tire wear. And I really expected that because young drivers just don't tend to do well at Martinsville, but I will get into that a little bit later because some of them did. Stage 1 was fairly calm. There were a lot of cautions during this race, so I'm not going to talk about all of them. I think there were maybe 15, 16, maybe 14 to 16 cautions this race. So there was a bunch of cautions. But stage 1, the end of it was not calm, but during stage 1 it was fairly calm. During the end of stage 1, you had Jimmy Johnson, Ryan Blaney, Kyle Larson, I think, was in there as well. They were all beating and banging off each other. Truex was leading the stage. He goes on to win the stage. And then you could see the top 10 here. I'll put that on the screen of the top 10 for stage 1.
3 fighting for that 10th last point-paying spot. Truex wins the stage. Hamlin, Busch, Keselowski, Elliott, Larson, Blaney, Johnson, Dillon.
Woo. Do stage points mean anything, my friend?
Now, stage 2 is where we got a lot of long runs going on. And you had Kyle Busch and Brad Keselowski and Chase Elliott. Those three were the main guys all race long. It was, you know, Brad K. Even though Brad K and Joey Logano had speeding penalties earlier in the race, or Joey Logano had a jack issue, but Joey came back up there later in the race, and Brad K had one of the faster cars, basically all race long. So it was him, Kyle Busch, and Chase Elliott, who were the fastest cars, and really they never left those top 3 positions. At the end of stage 2, you had Kyle Busch run up to a bunch of lap traffic, and all those guys that were in front of him were trying to stay on the lead lap. Guys like Hamlin, guys like Boyer, guys like Stenhouse, they were all trying to stay on the lead lap. And you know when this is what stage racing does differently, because these drivers on the lead lap know a caution is going to be coming out in, let's say, 6 laps from now. So when Kyle gets to them, they're not going to pull over. And Stenhouse in no way should pull over for Kyle Busch. Kyle Busch tends to go and risk it. He decides to go and try to pass these guys and put them a lap down. Even though he seemed hesitant at first, he didn't want to do it, but later on he did do it. And then you can see what happens here. Stenhouse just knocks him out of the way, and Chase Elliott and Brad Keselowski were closing because Kyle Busch was there for about 12 laps, I think it was. He got there. He was thinking about it. I guarantee he was probably told the gap to second place when he got to that pack of cars. He saw Denny Hamlin was in that pack, so you might want to keep him on the lead lap. But once Elliott and Keselowski started to close, you know, Kyle had to go. And Stenhouse bumped him out of the way, got him out of the way. Chase Elliott comes through, finishes ahead. Chase Elliott wins stage 2 after Truex won stage 1. So Truex gets another playoff point. I don't know how many he has at the moment. I don't see a lot of someone keeping track of the playoff points. I hope I gotta do that myself, I guess. But even in like mainstream NASCAR media, I don't see playoff points being tallied right now. I know Truex has a good amount since he has a win, and he has a couple of stage wins. Brad K has a good amount because he's already won 2 races. I want to know what the playoff points really are there. But yeah, crazy ending to stage 2, and that's why everyone should like stage racing. I don't see how you can't like stage racing, because in that moment, if we didn't have the stage, Kyle would still have trouble getting through them, but the risk would not. They wouldn't be that aggressive. I mean, we're talking about racing to the end of a stage. You know a caution's coming out. If Stenhouse doesn't know a caution is coming out, he's not going to bump Kyle Busch out of the way heading to the line. That's not going to happen. So that's just stuff that's created by stage racing right there. Now on to stage 3. I mean, there were so many wrecks. I'm just going to go play a montage of them. Like, just go ahead and watch this. basically throughout all of stage 3, those top 3 guys I was telling you about, Elliott, Keselowski, and Kyle Busch. Elliott was always kind of around third, while Brad K and Kyle Busch just had amazing battles. I mean, they were equal cars, basically. Kyle did not appreciate the tires that was put on in the last pit stop with about 100 laps to go. Apparently, they felt different, and sometimes that happens. When you put a different set of Goodyear tires on your car, they can feel a lot different than what the previous set is. And at Martinsville, that is just huge because tires are everything at Martinsville. Since once you get to a certain point in the race, you can't really make any more adjustments because your car is going to be what it is, and the track has already changed, and the rubber's already there. So if you get a wrong set of tires like Kyle did, that's what's going to happen. You're going to start struggling. Both around 40 to 30 to go, Keselowski was literally right on Kyle's bumper the entire time, pressuring him. He raced him very clean, and it was a great battle between those two, while guys like Austin Dillon, Chase Elliott, Logano, Kyle Larson got back up there, but again, he would just fade all the time on the long run, and then at the end of the race, he ended up with a battery issue that put him back to 17th. But and guys like Jimmy Johnson was there for a little bit, but he fell back. I actually don't know what happened to him, but he fell back to around 15th or 16th, so I don't know what happened to him. If any of you are Jimmy Johnson fans, I saw him around 6th or 7th, like most midway through the race to like the end, but then I saw him back at 15th. I don't know what happened to him. In the end, Brad Keselowski would take home the win. And yeah, it was, to me, Martinsville is always a great race. You guys can leave it down in the comments if you thought it was a great race, but I always think Martinsville is a great race. It's a driver's track. Usually you have to be a great driver to win at Martinsville. Keselowski obviously is a great driver. I want to talk about the young guns real quick. Eric Jones as a rookie did really well. I know he didn't finish that well, but throughout the race, especially early on and through the middle, Eric Jones was running in the top 10. And I'm telling you right now, for a rookie at Martinsville to be running in the top 10 in this age of NASCAR is just, that's really unheard of. So Eric Jones did a fantastic job. Kyle Larson, he showed the speed. It's just they got to get he has to understand. I don't even think it's really his fault. It could be the car as well, but when your car is just not set up where the rear tires just can't stay on the car, then he's going to struggle. And Larson has openly said that Martinsville is his worst track, so he needs to get better at Martinsville. I look at Martinsville as the epitome of a driver's talent. If you look at Martinsville and who does great at Martinsville, it's always the best drivers. If you look even back in the day when it was Gordon, Johnson, Earnhardt, Tony Stewart, was Denny Hamlin when he came along, like those guys dominate Martinsville because they are just fantastic drivers. Kyle Busch has now entered that category. Logano, since he's moved to Penske, has entered that category. Brad Keselowski has entered that category as well. While Gordon, Stewart, those guys get out. Hamlin struggled a little bit today, but now you have. I saw Kyle Busch and Brad Keselowski dominate, but then I saw a 21-year-old in Chase Elliott who was consistent all race long. He won the truck race yesterday. He ran basically top 3 all day long, and that is very, very impressive to me. So I think that has proven to me that Chase Elliott is the real deal. Kyle Larson obviously is the real deal as well. Eric Jones definitely did very well as a rookie. I'm interested to see how he does in his future comings at Martinsville because he never raced at Martinsville until this weekend. So if he just gets more laps under his belt, Eric Jones could be one of the best in Martinsville. It's a true driver's track. The best drivers come out to compete at Martinsville, and that's what NASCAR should be, and that's why everyone loves it so much. In the end, to me, it was a really good race, great race. I'd give it maybe a B+ to an A-. The race kind of lulled in the middle there because there were so many cautions. We'd run 5 laps, caution, 5 laps, caution, 5 laps, caution. So that kind of disrupted the flow of the race. That also gave Keselowski and Kyle Busch plenty of time to mix it up there. So that was really good racing. Danica Patrick back there. I mean, there were so many guys like Danica, Chris Buescher, Allmendinger, Clint Boyer was back there a lot. Kurt Busch, even though he had the incident. But they were just beating and banging all over the place. Ricky Stenhouse Jr.'s car looked like it was just completely mauled to hell. So yeah, there was just a lot going on back there. Guys, if you liked the video, make sure you hit that like button. If you liked the race or enjoyed the race, make sure you comment down below. What did you think of the race, basically? If you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe. Go check out what's already on the channel. I'll see you guys later. Hope you're having a fantastic day, and peace out.